and raised money for them through a tax-exempt nonprofit organization. Imagine. Thanks to a courageous FBI agent who happened to be on the scene, the Department of Justice was impelled to bring charges. Unfortunately, our justice system gave them only a slap on the wrist. In light of the murder of my friend Charlie Kirk by a leftist assassin, I am gratified to see that at least some members of our federal legislature are now confronting the consistent and escalating pattern of left-wing terrorism in the country.
The American Conservative magazine, an honorary doctorate of Humane Letters from Ave Maria University. Michael is a graduate of Yale and has lectured at universities and research institutions around the world. The floor is yours.
Politics isn't just about parties or power. It's about people, their stories, struggles, and choices that shape the world we live in. I'm Poe, and this is PoliticalPoe. In a chamber of polished wood and trembling truths, Michael took the stand, a man forged in Yale halls, his words sharp as glass, his grief still raw. He spoke of Charlie, a friend silenced by a bullet's creed, and of streets where masks and fire danced together. Leftist terror, he called it, flames painted on the pavement, smoke curling like questions no one dares to answer. He recalled Pittsburgh, where a debate turned to a battlefield where fireworks met police shields and effigies burned with faces made monstrous. Justice, he said, blinked, gave mercy where there should be memory. Call it by its name, he warned, for silence is complicity.
The American Conservative magazine, an honorary doctorate of Humane Letters from Ave Maria University. Michael is a graduate of Yale and has lectured at universities and research institutions around the world. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman Schmidt, Ranking Member Welch, and all the members of this committee. The ranking member suggested that we condemn political violence, which surely we must all do, but then he suggested that we not try to pinpoint exactly which side the violence comes from. This seems to me confusing and misbegotten, as one cannot solve a problem if one does not know where the problem lies. In light of the murder of my friend Charlie Kirk by a leftist assassin, I am gratified to see that at least some members of our federal legislature are now confronting the consistent and escalating pattern of left-wing terrorism in the country. Lest I be accused of partisan invective, on September 23rd, no less an emblem of American liberalism than The Atlantic magazine published an article citing a recent study from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, admitting that the left is more violent today than the right. Less honest liberals, including members of Congress, continue to deny this fact. Democrat Congressman Seth Moulton, for example, reacted to Charlie's assassination by blaming the right. Congressman Moulton claimed that 3/4 of political violence in the United States comes from the right, while only 4% comes from the left. That claim struck me, as it probably does many of you, as suspect. So I looked into just a few recent examples that came to mind of prominent left-on-right violence. The Covenant School massacre in Nashville, in which a trans-identifying shooter murdered Christian school children after outlining her ideological motivations. According to authorities, there was no ideological motive there. Go figure. The Black Lives Matter riots, overtly leftist demonstrations that left dozens of people dead and over $1 billion worth of property damage. Likewise, those fail to show up on registers of left-wing political violence. Even an attack by Antifa that targeted me personally, as well as conservative college students for our political views, appeared in official records and data sets as nothing more than obstructing law enforcement. It turns out the left commits relatively little political violence when you don't count the political violence that the left commits. I am here today to speak about that single illustrative incident. On April 18th, 2023, I was invited to participate in a debate at the University of Pittsburgh on the topic of transgenderism. Before the debate, several hundred left-wing protesters gathered outside the student center, many dressed uniformly in black with face coverings. They lit the street on fire while burning me in effigy with a little Hitler mustache painted on my face. All because I hold the view, as most Americans do, that men cannot become women. Buildings in the area were placed on a soft lockdown. As the Pittsburgh Bureau of Fire put out my burning effigy, an Antifa operative named Brian DePippa, hiding behind his wife, Crystal, rolled 2 smoke bombs under police barricades. Attendees scattered while demonstrators chanted, "Fascists go home." DePippa then threw a lit firework into a group of police officers protecting the building. The explosion injured several officers, including severe and life-altering injuries to a female officer. The debate was forced to end early after campus police determined that the protests outside were becoming even more destructive. The campus issued a safety emergency notification. Despite popular efforts to deny the existence of organized left-wing terrorism, Brian and Crystal DePippa were not merely two citizens protesting a speaker with whom they disagreed. Things just got a little out of hand. No. They are members of an extremist cell, a cell that meets at an anarchist bookshop, the sort of venue that operates as training grounds for left-wing terror attacks. Brian DePippa repeatedly set off TSA screeners for explosive material on his body. The Torch Antifa network has claimed the DePippas as members and raised money for them through a tax-exempt nonprofit organization. Imagine. Thanks to a courageous FBI agent who happened to be on the scene, the Department of Justice was impelled to bring charges. Unfortunately, our justice system gave them only a slap on the wrist. I think we should all be able to agree that throwing an explosive at a group of people is no mere minor indiscretion. That is a very serious crime. That's attempted murder, the kind of crime that merits life in prison. Instead, our justice system sentenced Brian DePippa to minimal jail time for obstructing law enforcement. His wife got off with probation. The federal government must act now to stop the consistent and accelerating trend of leftist terrorism. For a legislator to deny the threat and neglect the remedy might once have been chalked up to ignorance. Today, it is nothing less than complicity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce the next witness. Danielle Hodges was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, studied at George Mason University.